What's going on, guys? So I kind of already started this custom, but I was filming it for short, but this is taking long enough. I think I should make a real video, and I think some of these tips would help with other figures. So I bought this Arkham City McFarlane DC Multiverse Batman, and I don't really collect video game figures. I really wanted to use this guy to try to make like a comic book Batman, because this Three Jokers one is fine. I painted the trunks black, and it's been a pretty good stand-in for like a classic comic Batman. But I really wanted like one with this huge bat logo that was like black with the pouch belt. And since I have the year 2 with the oval logo and the capsule belt, I was like, maybe I'll make my own big logo, because this is what I think of when I think of Batman, the huge bat logo. I collected comics, but also I play the games a lot, so this is kind of my go-to Batman look. But what I really wanted to change about this guy, the upper torso area, like from the waist up, is good. This chest being like a V shape, and then the head, I like the head a lot. Those all look comic booky, and I like that. The legs, though, are tiny. They're kind of weird looking, because the thighs and the calves are like the same size, I guess, with this armor plate, really. And then these arms being single jointed, you can't even get to 90 with them. Don't like that. And just the overall, like this huge pad right here on his arm makes it kind of look weird. So what I'm planning on doing is taking the arms off this guy, and maybe the upper legs off of him, put them on here. Because this guy's, also he doesn't want to stand. So I'm taking the boots off the Three Jokers Batman too, because this guy will not stand up for anything. I think the boots are like rounded on the bottom, so they're always falling. But comparing him to like other DC Multiverse Justice League figures, he's a pretty good height, I think. Like, it's pretty close. But this Three Jokers Batman is huge. Like, he's half a head taller than Martian Manhunter. And I have a Superman, but it's a custom, so I don't want to pull that out for size comparison. This is just off the shelf Martian Manhunter. So I'm hoping that taking only the upper legs, leaving the lower legs, and using these lower legs will kind of make him, this will be taller, which I'm not happy about, but it won't be as tall as this one. So maybe that'll all work out. I don't know. So I've already done the arm, this arm. So on this Batman, I'll just go ahead and pull off both arms. Whoop, don't want the piece. The peg that goes into the body is super long compared to like the Three Jokers Batman, which is more like this. Like there's a head more on this one. So just swapping the arm straight across is not gonna work. Here's the actual peg. I think this one's even longer than the actual Three Jokers. Yeah, so it's like a whole head of a peg longer, if not more. So what I did was, I have some extra Batman arms from a custom I did a while back that I've kind of dismantled at this point. And I cut the peg off of it and took the head off this Three Jokers Batman, the head of the peg, and just glued it on there. Let me break it down with the actual one I've already done. Okay, so you can see I cut the head off the Three Jokers Batman arm, and then cut the peg off of this arm. I think this is a Flashpoint Batman arm, but honestly, you could use any peg you want, arm peg. They all fit in each body. And I used my soldering iron to kind of melt a center point on both sides, and then just drilled with this drill. I just drilled a hole through, down through there, and then up through the peg. And I used one of the trim finishing nails, one of these, and just kind of glued it through. So it's not just glue holding this together, it's the nail holding this together, and the glue's just keeping the nail in place and the piece from sliding off. And I mean, I can't pull that apart. And I glued this not even 20 minutes ago, but that's not coming apart. So that's a really good way to, if you have any broken pegs, like you move a figure, it's frozen, you break the peg, that's a really good way to go ahead and fix that peg without having to like replace it, or like some people use a screw, which I think is fine. It might be a little bit easier, but this keeps everything pretty much original. And I kind of came up with that. I didn't really come up with it. Somebody probably has been doing it long before I started customizing, but I kind of started using it with this guy, this Year 2 Batman. If you got this guy, there's a good chance the upper arm broke. And so I used it there to kind of glue that back together. And I mean, you still have motion there. You don't have to freeze that joint. And you can see there's a little gap. I didn't do it perfect. The side doesn't have that gap. So this guy's held together almost a year now, I think, since it's been out. It broke right out of the box. The minute I got it, I tried to test the articulation, just snapped it. So I mean, it holds on for hopefully ever. It holds on for a long time at least. So that's what I'm gonna do to the other arm. I'll kind of go through that. I'm gonna do this other arm and I'll show each step. But we're gonna do that, and then I'm gonna let that dry, and then maybe tomorrow I'll do the legs. I don't know. Maybe I'll get to it today. But let me show you the steps in doing that. Okay, so to cut this peg, I use these snippers, hobby snippers, and these, you see there's a curve, there's like an angle on the inside, so you want it to angle up. That way, when you cut it, I'll show you if I don't lose this. Yeah. So you see that side's flat now, so that's a good area to work with. But then this side is kind of, oops. It's like cut to an angle. So always make sure you angle it with the flat side facing which side you want to be flat. If that makes sense. I've made that mistake a bunch of times and then had to go back and snip a little bit more and work off that. But this is the Three Jokers Batman arm. I want as much material here to work with as I can get. So I just cut right at the tip of this. And this one I'm gonna cut. I'm gonna do the same cut right here. But to kind of measure out how long I want the peg, I cut this toothpick that I use for painting at the same length as, this is the Arkham City arm. I cut the toothpick to kind of be the same length as that peg. That way I can just kind of keep it in mind without having to like keep comparing this to that. So it's easier to kind of get there to see how long I need it to be. So like I need to add that much to it. So let me snip this and then I'll drill the holes and I'll show you where I'm at. Okay, so I did mess up a little bit and also kind of lied. I cut this peg too short on the spare arm I had. So I had an extra Rebirth Superman arm. I just took the peg off of that. You're not gonna see the peg, so it doesn't really matter that the colors don't match or anything. But I lied because some of the other arms, like this is the first Superman they made. What was the Action Comics 1000? That's the, yeah, that's wrong. No, that's the wrong one. But anyways, this peg is slightly smaller. So if you put it into the body, this is the wrong arm, but you see how floppy it is? Like it's not, it does not want to stay in there. You can fix that problem if you put a little, maybe like floor polish or super glue into that hole. And with the super glue, you just put it in and wiggle it around a lot so it doesn't dry. It doesn't fuse the two parts together. But you can fix it that way. I just decided to use a bigger peg. Because like you see, like the regular arm that goes in there, the peg's a little bit bigger. And so it's still kind of loose in there when you don't have the cap. But I mean, it's not like the other one. So the Rebirth Superman arm though, fit pretty good. It was close to perfect. I can't catch it. So what I did, I took my soldering iron and kind of just melted a pilot hole in there. I don't know if you call it a pilot hole, but like an initial guide for my drill. Did it to this one too. and then I just drilled down in there. And then you take one of these trim, or these like, yeah, trim screw nails, and I cut the pointy part off. I just use these like needle nose pliers. They have that blade in there that cuts, and just hold it over a trash can or something, because you don't want that coming up and hitting you in the face. Point it down and cut it like that. But I drilled that hole in there, and then you can see here it slides right in. You don't want to go too deep. You don't want to drill into that peg that's holding it in there, but get it deep enough that you can actually get that in there. And you can see it's kind of at an angle. I didn't drill it perfectly straight, of course, but that's not going to be that big of a deal, because when I drill this one, it's probably going to be at an angle because I can't ever drill straight. And so I'll just rotate it to kind of match, line up. And also, you're not going to see the peg. You can articulate this. If it's slightly curved, it's more than slightly curved. But if you really try to, you could probably bend this a little bit. So what I do now is, trust me, it's gonna work out. I know y'all don't believe me. That's not straight at all. I'm an idiot and I do this all the time. So it works out. I use a little bit of this super glue gel, and just kind of take this and rub it around in there till you get a little bit on there. And the holes are almost the same size. So, I mean, if you can buy bigger nails or whatever, just make sure the drill bit's almost the same size. I just kind of pop it in there, get it where I want it, and then let it set for a little bit. Whoops, bumped the camera. I take a Q-tip too and wipe this excess off. You'll leave the excess on in the next part, but this part I like to wipe it off because I'm gonna move it around. I don't want my fingers to get glue all over them. But there's the first part. See, that is straighter. Oh well, that'll work out. Let me let that dry for a little bit, and then I'm gonna snip. I just take these and snip after I drill this hole, I'll kind of figure out how far I want that to go in there, and I snip it there. And then before you glue this one, you have to test fit, all that. Okay. So I'm gonna let it dry for a little bit, and then I'm going to glue this on there, and I'll show you how it looks. All right. I drilled the hole there, cut the nail, and then just slapped it on there. As soon as I put this on there, it was on there. Like, I cannot get it off. They're pretty close. I was really worried I wasn't be able to get them the same, but they match up pretty close, so I'm happy with that. So what I'm gonna do is let that dry for a little bit, and I'll plug them in and show you what it looks like. And then I'll have to heat up the legs to switch those. But like I said, if you ever have to fix a joint and you still want the articulation there, this is an easy way to do it, and that's not coming apart. So, I'll come back in just a second. All right, we got the arms in there, and I think they look pretty good. He is definitely top heavy now. He is huge. I didn't realize how big these arms were till I got them both on there. We're gonna try to fix the legs now. I got this guy in this, it was like boiling water. That hurt. That was like boiling water. I'm letting him set for a little bit to heat up his legs. I'm gonna try to take those apart. Because this guy definitely needs some leg work. He skipped leg day a few times. So let's take this guy out and see if I can do this on camera. Just have him squatted down in there. So I'm gonna work on getting the actual legs disconnected first. We'll try just this butter knife. So you can see it kind of tabs in there. So we can just, I'm not really worried about messing this one up, so yeah. So once you get one side of that tab off, it just pops off. And then the other side, let's see, oh, I think it came off. No. Okay, there it goes. So you just gotta tab that off and then the whole leg comes off. Now this guy is done. I don't need anything more. I painted this before, and as you can see with this like flexible plastic, once you paint it, if you flex that at all, it starts cracking. So that's why I don't like the color of this belt as much. It's like a kind of like a desaturated yellow. I don't like it as much as just like a bright yellow, but I'm gonna keep this just because these trunks I don't have to worry about painting. I could like take the belt off that and glue it on here, but that's a lot of work. I'm just gonna leave this how it is. So let's heat these guys up a little bit more and then see if we can get this top part off. All right, I did one just to, I want to test it before I try to run my mouth and it be wrong or something. I also want the feet off of this. So I took the foot off too. Probably will end up having to take that ankle peg out and put it in the other one, but I'm hoping not, but maybe. So it just connects like that, and I usually try to find the thinner side. So this my left side is a little bit thinner. So let me just show it rather than talk about it. I have these to get them out of the water. I don't know where these came from, but I've had them forever. All right. That's really hot. So that side's a little bit thinner. Whoops. So I'm gonna take this and just kind of, this butter knife, and try to pop it loose, and then see it bend like that. Then you can just kind of pop it out. Pretty easy with these. Marvel Legends, I think, are a little bit harder, and getting the peg back in is not fun. But DC Multiverse are way easier than everything else. So, also there's a little rubbing from where I painted it before. I'm gonna take some acetone and try to get that off. But I'm gonna do this one the same way, and then I'll show you what the legs look like. All right, so I started working on it on the other leg, but let me show you how to do this one. Figured this out the hard way. There's a marker there. So this is the left leg with the L there. I'm gonna work kind of quickly here. So yeah, that's the left side. Left bottom part. We're gonna take this pin. Let me kind of get it started there. And then I'm just gonna shove it with my thumb, maybe. I don't know, that's not going in there. Okay, you can see through it, so it's lined up pretty well. Let me try to plug it in now. I hate this part. I hate this part a lot, but yeah, that's not one going there. Let me reheat it and try it again. Okay, I heated it a little bit more. I got it that far in. I'm just gonna keep pushing at it. The feet fit perfectly, which I'm excited about, so I don't have to mess with that anymore. But let's see if he'll move a little bit now. It does not want to come. Just put it like that and like try to squeeze it like that, because if you don't do that, you're gonna scar the plastic. All right, so I got it in there. It all looks pretty good. I mean, they're the same like length and everything, which is what I wanted. They fit together. Calves look a little tiny, but I mean, with the armor plating, it's not really that noticeable. There. The knee above, I don't know why that chunk's missing from the old one, but I mean, that's fine. It's not that big of a deal. There's a little ridge right there. But I mean, this is about as good as you're could ask for a fit here. I honestly didn't expect it to fit that well together. Let's see if I can get the foot out and show you those. Okay, so here's the left foot. I think, yeah. And that just, boom. Easy. Now that hopefully will allow him to stand way better. Let's see if I can get this leg to stand on its own. Yeah. Look at that. Perfect. Okay, let me see if I can plug this onto this guy while we're still filming. Maybe I can just push this on there. Is this the one? Yeah. So this one, there's a little gap there. It's not that big of a deal. But you can usually just shove it on like that. Easy. Let me really push it on there. I mean, that's not going anywhere. All right. So yeah, I'll get a wider shot at the end, but that looks pretty good. Yeah, I like that. Okay, let me get the other leg on and then I'll do a full shot and show you everything. All right, here's the final product. Honestly, it all went pretty smoothly. Usually I mess up something somewhere, but this one went overall pretty well. I think the legs really help even out the rest of the body. The calves are a little small, but with the armor plate down there, it looks perfectly fine. The upper body's huge now. The arms match because the chest and torso were way bigger than the arms, so it kind of looked like he had little puny arms and then huge, which I mean makes sense with the armor stuff. But I think overall as like a comic book Batman, this looks pretty spot on. The only thing that we didn't get to fix here was the height issue. So here's the year 2 Batman. It's the same body as the 3 Jokers Batman, and they're almost the same height. So it didn't really fix a whole lot, changing those legs around. Let me go over what I used. So 3 Jokers feet and 3 Jokers ankle pegs. The ankle pegs for the 3 Jokers are way stronger, I guess. I don't know, those indentations where it sticks at, because like it shifts each spot. But that one's way stronger, so he can stand way better. Like I can just put him in a pose. So 3 Jokers upper legs, Arkham lower legs, Arkham full torso head, 3 Jokers arms. You could switch over the hands if you wanted. I noticed the Arkham ones are the same gloves almost. They just have the silver painted on. So I think the hands would switch pretty easily. Some comparisons with other Justice League figures. I mean, he's still like, Martian Manhunter makes it up to his eyes. So he's still pretty tall. Same thing with Aquaman. Just about over the eyes. So he's still a little too tall. I think he'll fit in. Maybe we got him like some kind of pose or something. I don't know. Probably would work out. Where's this gun? I like the back grapnel too he came with. Wish there was a trigger though, because it doesn't like lock into his hand. These double jointed elbows too will make it way easier for posing stuff, or posing him around. But yeah, those ankles are way better too, because he's already, I mean, he's still toppling over a bit, but I mean, he stands just like that. So let me know what you think. If y'all have tried this, if you've already done this, if you plan to do this. He was on Amazon. I ordered him Wednesday and got him on Thursday, so pretty quick custom I got to knock out. I know he's gonna be living on my shelf until another better Batman comes around. But thanks for watching. If you have any questions, let me know. If you like this, leave it a like, leave a comment, let me know what you think. And until I post another video, hopefully soon, see y'all around.